Hey guys, I want to welcome you to the weekly Wednesday for the Financial Freedom newsletter, where every week, every Wednesday, we delve into something inspirational, motivational, something excerpt taken from the Financial Freedom weekly newsletter. Wherever you are, if you're listening on Spotify, on iTunes, Google, be sure to click the like, subscribe, share, comment. And without ado, let's get into the show. Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. And as you know, leadership in today's times is quite challenging, and a leader can make or break a startup company, and we need better leaders. So in that light, I'm happy to introduce Valeria from Miami, and she helps leaders to improve communication so that they can increase productivity, conflict resolution, get great results. She's also a trainer for Tony Robbins, and I'm happy to welcome her to the show. So welcome.
Thank you, Chris, for the invitation. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Tell the audience about your story, how you got started, and what you do.
So how I got started, I think I got started with leadership when I started working, right? Because we have to start to practice first self-leadership so we can become that leader that people need us to be. So I started in business about 30 years ago, and one thing led to another. I started in sales, and then I became a sales manager, and then I created my own company. And then I had the opportunity to start training other people. And in 2003, I moved to the US. As you can see, or you can tell by my accent, I am originally from South America, and I've been here for about 20 years. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey because I had to start all over again in the US and start working for a company. And then as soon as I could, I started doing what I love, which is this that I'm doing right now, which is teaching and coaching and helping people to grow and become the leaders that they want, or not only they want to be, but also their companies and their clients needs them to be.
Like I said, it's all about resiliency. And what's interesting is, especially Argentina, which, has sky high inflation, I have a lot of friends, they're family from Argentina, their parents, life savings taken away from by inflation and, currency.
Oh, yeah. And I born in Argentina, but we moved to Venezuela when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So, when I came to Venezuela was in their prime. But then when I moved to the US, was in a times where Venezuela was really having big issues with the economy, with the security and so on. So, I was kind of, I would say, forced by the universe to make the decision to move. But I don't regret 1 second the things. I think that everything that happened to me led me to where I am today, which I'm blessed.
Yeah, it's amazing how the universe has your back. And one thing that's talking about is that in terms of leadership, what's the number one soft skill that can make or break a leader?
Communication is the number one. Without communication, we don't have anything. And if we think about it, we spend most of our day communicating with others. And the time that we are not communicating with others, we are communicating with ourselves. So again, everything starts with us, and then how we express with others. Usually we try to communicate with other people the way that we want to be communicated. But the truth is that we have to be very strategic on how we communicate with others, because we want to communicate with others or to others in the way that they need to be communicated. And that is one of the biggest challenges for any leader.
And especially Tony Robbins, the training is, pretty rigorous. And So what are some 5 ways to improve your communication skills?
Well, the first one is think before you talk, right? Think before you speak. Is like, what is the goal behind what you are going to say? Because sometimes we say too much. Sometimes we say things from an emotional point of view instead of being pragmatic and say, okay, this is my goal. And does this serve me or does this not, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing will be listen to understand instead of listening to respond. Most of us, we're listening to the conversation and we are preparing the whole response in our minds to just, justify or to just explain what happened and so on. And we're not paying attention to the other person needs. So if we start listening to understand, then we can really provide a response that is more proactive. Another way or another thing that we should pay attention when we communicate to others is understanding that everybody's different, but we are predictable different. And we have behaviors that there are patterns that we run. And there are personality styles. I use a lot the DISC personality style assessments to understand, okay, so who you are behind your words, right? So I can really communicate with you the way that you need to receive the information. There are people that needs the information straightforward, very focused on the goal, on the results. There are other people that need more time, that need to the step-by-step process, for example, right? So understanding that makes a huge difference. Number 4, I will say sometimes we need to take a pause before speaking, before responding to a situation, right? We have the tendency, even more in the times that we are experiencing right now, we receive an information and trigger us a response that we don't think too much about it, right? And sometimes if we feel that the emotions are going high, is the signal for me to put a pause and to think through before I speak. And then I will say number 5 will be emotional intelligence. It will be understanding that emotions can be something that will play in our favor in some cases, but sometimes will be on the way of our communication. And we have to understand that we need to self-assess. We need to understand where we are emotionally, but we have to understand that we are dealing with people. Even more, you work a lot with doctors, Christopher. So you understand this. When you have a patient coming to your office, there is an emotion that person has because, either that person is not feeling well or something is going on. And there is an emotion that is behind the words that you have as a doctor to understand before you can give them a treatment, right? We talk a lot about empathy, but how many people talk about empathy, but they don't really, they talk about it, but they don't walk the talk, right? So I think those are the main 5.
Yeah, I love that. And especially the great book is, these crucial conversations when emotion stakes are high. There's different opinions. That's when leadership is really important.
And now that you mentioned that book, what makes a crucial conversation a crucial conversation is the because if there was not an emotion behind that conversation, then it wouldn't be crucial.
And it's really interesting because he boils it down to like these leadership, and you need to not from emotion but from reason. And I love this. I love how you describe listening to understand as opposed to listening to respond. And then taboo topics crucial. So especially today's leaders, for lack of a better term, there's not very many good leaders. What are you doing in the space to train leaders, improve our leadership? It's very like any management or leadership book I read, it's very nebulous. It's almost like it requires a lot of emotional intelligence and a lot of different skills.
Well, the challenge that leaders have today is a lot of them has been pushed to grow too fast. A lot of the leaders that we are seeing nowadays are positional leaders. They have been put in positions to lead a team, but they have not been given the tools to do it. So there having been the mama dog come and push the little babies to the water so they learn to swim. Well, there is a learning time, right, for them to learn to swim. So what is happening is a lot of companies, because of what happened in the last 3 years, they lost a lot of the leaders, and now they are being pushed to promote people within their teams that they don't have the experience as leaders, and they're not giving them the training to become the leaders that the company needs them to be. Now, there's one thing that I want to say is that not always someone that is in a leadership position, either manager or any leadership supervisor or even a CEO, means that that person is a leader, right? You may have, look, I'm going to share with you about 5 years ago, I went to Costa Rica with John Maxwell. I do also work with John Maxwell, and I was part of the 200 coaches that went to Costa Rica with John Maxwell, hired by the government to help them transform the country. So we did what is called transformational tables. And I went to one of the companies that I had to go to do the training, to do the transformation tables. They had about, let's say, about 20, 30 of their employees in the room. And as I was facilitating the process, there was this guy sitting on the back, and every now and then he put his hands up, and every time that he talked, that he spoke, everybody turned to him and listened to him, and they were like, wow, that's true, and you're right. And it was kind of like turning the lights on, right? And then at the end of the session, I saw how everybody went to this guy. They were hugging him. They were saying thank you, and they were really appreciating the fact that he said everything he said and he shared everything he shared. Then they left the room, and I stayed back with the person that was coordinating the session. And she said to me, do you know who that guy is? And I said to her, well, for sure, he's a leader. And she said, well, he's the guy that cleans the bathroom. He has been with the company like for 30 years, and he's the guy that cleans the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, so that is the best example that you can have, or that you can see when is leadership. Is someone that leadership is not something that you get. It's not something that you can give. It's something that you become. Right? And this guy, the guy that cleaned the bathroom in that company, was respected in that moment as a leader because he showed leadership, because of who he is. So that was an amazing thing to watch, and how everybody came together in that room. We had people from different backgrounds, different positions, and he got so much significance in that moment just because he showed up as the leader that he is, even though he was not in a leadership position. So that is what truly leadership is.
Okay. Yeah, it makes, and it's I love that story because you talk about you firmly believing that people's behaviors affect team performance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love this. I wish there were more like DISC and John Maxwell and training teams. The other thing is so especially through challenging times, what can leaders do to prepare, lead their teams through change, get them focused, navigate these waters, really work from home, everything's changing. So what can leaders do to help prepare and help their companies navigate through this? Especially AI. AI is going to really change a lot of things.
Well, I would say transition times comes like what we are experiencing right now. Some people call it crisis. Some people call it, new times, however you want to call it. I think that the leaders and the companies have to put a special attention in their teams. What I mean with this is give them the opportunity to be part of the solution. What we tend to do is, oh, there is crisis, don't talk to me. There is crisis, just do what I tell you to do, right? That doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work anymore. People want to be part of something. And you just say it. A lot of people, a lot of companies are still working hybrid, and maybe some of them are at home. Some of them are half of the time in the office, half of the time at home. Some of them are at the office. And this is what I'm saying. The people that are in the office, they resent the people that are staying back home. And the people that are staying home, they feel disconnected from the mission, from the vision, from the team. So there is a lot of going on between the teams. So I think one of the things that I would recommend to do, number one, get your people together, create activities that works on getting people to know each other at a personal level. Because now more than ever, it's important to remember that we are working with people. It's important to remember that we need to work together. Now, one of the things that I have seen has made a difference, and I saw it during COVID, and now I think it's more relevant, is give every person of your team a reason why to be there. It's not anymore about the job that you are giving them. It's about the sense of belonging that they have to feel. So they feel that they not only are part of the team, but that belongs to them, that the project belongs to them, that the goals belongs to them, that the vision is part of them. So if we are expecting that we're going to give orders and they're going to do what, no, and you're going to have people just doing what you tell them to do, and they're going to leave you. They're going to leave you because, people leave people. They don't leave companies. They leave people. So if they don't feel that they are part of something, you have to compensate right now the distance, the separation that we have with something. And I think what gets us closer is the sense of belonging. This is mine. I'm part of this. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm an important piece of the puzzle to make this work. So when the people feel like that, they're committed to productivity. They're committed to make things happen, because now it's not my boss, the owner of the company, that has to, succeed or that gonna get the benefit of this. I'm part of that too, and I get the benefit too. And when I say benefit, I'm not saying, give them money. No, this goes beyond money. It has to be more with the culture, with the identity, with the sense of belonging.
Yeah, I love that. And I love this idea where you describe it, goes beyond money, because it's all about buy-in and investment and identity. That's why people buy, $2,000 handbags, versus a $10. And it's so interesting because now it's like we have the technologies enabled that people can go out and do their own things. So, if companies are holding people back, they're going to go and start their own and embody a lot of these leadership principles. And that's why you have disruptive companies like, Facebook and Uber and Airbnb, all Coinbase, all of these companies they're doing, because they can't do anything within the existing leadership. So they become leaders in their own rights. So,
and creating a company, the truth is, it's not for everyone. I have a lot of friends that they love and enjoy working for corporate. So I think there is a space and time for everyone at every level, right? Is how you motivate your employees so they really feel that they are part of something bigger than themselves. If they feel that, they're going to stay. If they feel disconnected, most likely they're going to leave, either for their own project or to another company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fascinating discussion. I love that. And how can people contact you, follow you, reach out to you on social media, check out your work, etc.?
Okay, so they can reach out to me via Facebook or Instagram through Valeria Grunbaum. And if they want to see my website, they can reach out inleadership.com. Valeria.
Yeah. And for all the audience out there, let's thank Valeria for coming onto the show and really talking about leadership, especially in these times. We need great leaders.
And Christopher, also, I forgot, I always forget LinkedIn. That probably will be also one of the main places where you can reach out to me.
And all of your resources will be in the links and show notes. And with that, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
I hope you really enjoyed that wonderful, inspirational, motivational piece. Again, wherever you are listening, if you liked it, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. We're on everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Audible. And without much ado, be sure to thank this show's sponsors, and we'll see you next week.